All right, we got a good one on top five tonight. We're doing our top five family-friendly movies.
Welcome to Top 5 with Joey Cassata. Starring Joey Cassata.
Team Jesus, my friend. No! Am I walking around, Park?
Co-starring Ernie Palooza. And the Doctor, Tommy Snyder.
Goddamn.
Now here's your host, Joey Cassata.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Top 5. I'm your host, Joey Cassata.
And I'm Kiki Palmer, spelled Kekepalmer.
I'm a little worried about that. I think we might have the wrong category here, Ernie. I don't know. That sounds more like one of your VHS tapes you used to hide
Nope.
as a kid, if you know what I mean.
The people that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I can't wait to hear. Wait, what does this shirt say today?
Let me see.
Read it to me. Oh my God. With
What
a
a body.
body like this, who needs hair? Why you, Bernie?
Woo! I'm good.
So we are hot off the heels of the Playground reunion show, which was what a night. What a perfect night. So many things went into planning this between not only getting the guys, on the same page to do it, but all the rehearsals that went into it, securing the venue, the sound guy, the gear, the advertisement. I thought it went off perfectly, Ernie. What do you think?
I had such a great time. And if we continue at the same rate, your next show will be 2056.
I don't think we'll make it. We got a text that day. It was, I think, someone said it was 11,480 days in between shows. What could go wrong?
Guys sounded great.
Yeah, I got to tell you, nothing went wrong, which was, weird because an event like that, 30 years in the making, sound issues, technical issues, song issues, whatever, there was so many things that could have gone wrong. Nothing went wrong. And on top of doing all that, we even filmed a documentary. It's a feel-good documentary about a band that really never made it, getting back together after 30 years. Why are we doing it? What's the point of doing it? It's going to be a fun doc. We're putting it together now. We'll see how it comes. What do you think?
I think you're selling yourself short. You're really only one song away from being a one-hit wonder.
I hate you, Ernie. I really do. We even had Ernie kind of semi-introduce us that night. He got the crowd riled up, foaming at the mouth, right?
Yeah, I did.
We sold out of Playground shirts and Ernie shirts. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. We did not sell out of the Playground shirts, but we did sell out of the Ernie shirts. Ernie, later in the night, I caught him even signing shirts for people. Am I right?
For some people.
Select few.
Yes.
All I know, there was a frenzy going on. I heard, someone, I'm not even joking. I heard someone yell, "What? There's only one more signed Ernie shirt." And all of a sudden I saw two girls running to the table at top speed. And then I had to get it on video. I got it on video. It's incredible. Ernie!
It's tough being an influencer.
But again, it was a great night. I'll post some clips. Like I said, we're editing the doc now. adding some stuff in. We got a lot of stuff in the works in the talks, and we'll see what happens next for Playground. Hopefully, it won't be another 30 years. We'll see.
God, please no. Look, I can't. I hope you do it again soon because I had a great time.
It was a great night. All right, but we got a good one tonight. We're back. Top five is back, baby. We are doing our top five family-friendly movies. Now, you came up with this category. Give me your definition. What are we talking about here?
Well, first of all, we got to throw cartoons right out the window because that would be a whole nother category. And let's
Right.
face it,
So one of the Ernie rules: no animated movies, no cartoons. Right.
if they were, our top five would definitely be all cartoons anyway.
Of course.
These are movies that, well, for me, this. I was a little snobbish with this, where I chose my favorite movies that I believe are not that well known. I
Mm.
purposely went that way, and I kept the more popular movies for the honorable mentions.
It's not like you, Ernie, trying to turn people on to new things. That's different for you, isn't it?
Uh, sure, of course, yeah,
Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. There's nothing Ernie loves more than turning people on to new movies, new songs, new TV shows, everything. I definitely went more conventional. I went with mostly stuff I loved as a kid. Uh, just feel good movies, stuff that reminded me of being a kid, whether it was about kids or not. Most of them actually are, weirdly enough, but not on purpose. But they're just family friendly movies I watch with my kids. Most of these I've watched with them. They love all of them. It's just they're feel good movies or just family time movies.
nice.
All right, let's start it off, Bern. What do you got? Number five.
My number five, starring Kiki Palmer, and I have more than one movie starring Kiki on my list. But number five, and I kind of gave it away by spelling her name, Aquila and the Bee.
What is it called?
Aquila and the Bee.
Can you spell that first word?
Aquila, well, it's the girl, it's the character's name. Akeelah. Aquila.
And a B.
And the Bee.
Oh, and the B. Well, of course. I don't know this. I don't know Kiki Palmer. I don't know Aquila. I don't know the B.
It's it feels so much like a true story that I was amazed to find out that this is actually a fictional story. It's about a girl. Um, she's she's lives in a very, I think it's Compton, matter of fact, in the movie, or Crenshaw, and she has a gift for spelling, and the B is the spelling bee.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Don't know it. Never heard of it. What year are we looking at here?
2006.
Hmm.
It's also starring Lawrence Fishburne, and I believe it's the first movie he ever actually directed.
Now the little girl is what's her name again?
Kiki
Kiki
Palmer.
Wonder.
Kiki Palmer.
That's the girl who stars in it.
Yep, and she's on my list in more than one movie.
How can this be?
This
Love
this
it.
this is an incredible movie, by the way. Me and my daughter has watched this a couple of times now, and it is such a great, great movie.
I gotta try it. I will maybe even attempt it tonight.
Got to watch it with your kiddies. Your kid,
Of course, obviously. I'm not putting on a Killa and the B. It sounds like. Great start. Again, my number five, definitely more conventional. This is something maybe it's almost one of those movies that became so popular. I think people started to forget how good this movie really was because it was so popular at a point in time. But looking back, this movie it's perfect. And we're talking about the first Home Alone.
oh yeah,
It's an incredible movie. And it's so funny, even for me over the years that passed, I remember it, of course, and I forgot how good it really was until I started watching it again around Christmas time with my kids, and they can't get enough of it. It's really timeless. Obviously, the scenes with Joe Pesci with the booby traps, that's the classic stuff people remember. It's really, that sequence. starting with the beginning of the booby traps all the way through where, almost to the end. It's one of the greatest sequences ever in movies for me. It's so well done, such classic comedy that you can rewind that over and over again and laugh every time when he has the spider on his face and Joe Pesci standing over him with the crowbar and he's like, Marv, don't move, Marv. What are you doing? What are you doing? And he hits him. I can literally watch that 7, 10 times in a row and laugh every time.
I think it was like the biggest moneymaker, top 10 of all time when it came out. Or even,
Wow. What
it was
year
a,
is that? Or like 90?
I'm gonna guess 90. It's a John Hughes movie.
Oh,
Maybe
was
one.
it? So this obviously John Hughes is famous for like those teen movies. Is this right when he started getting away from those? Like when there's a doc on I forget what channel, maybe Amazon or Hulu, about the Brat Pack right now and how that the term Brat Pack kind of killed that whole crew of actors plus that genre of movie. Is this kind of when he started to get away from that?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I think
I
he
guess
did.
he did okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All
You
right, what do
know,
you got? Our number four.
Joe Pesci won the Academy Award for that year, but not for that movie.
My cousin Vinny, right?
No.
No, what Goodfellas?
Yeah,
Wow, really? What do you win? Supporting actor?
yeah.
Wow.
Because he's not a clown.
How amazing those two roles. Completely different. I mean, even though they were completely different, they're not. He's almost the same character in both movies.
You take the Goodfellas guy and just take out the F word, and then he's the,
Yep,
he's the character.
you're right. Come on, what do you got?
All right, number four is another Kiki Palmer movie,
Oh, Jesus.
uh, Knights of the South Bronx, which is
How
a
do you spell Knights? With a K-N?
yeah. Oh, it's a chess movie, so Knights, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Matter of fact, this movie and all my movies from now are true stories, by the way.
So Kiki is in this one too. This is before or after the B.
This is the year before, and
Okay.
playing practically the same character. I mean, she's a kid. I mean, she's both movies. Her mother is a terrible drug addict. So I guess to
Nice.
typecast her a second role
Typecast, of course. Nice.
for a while. But in this movie, it's about this substitute teacher, Ted Danson, who goes into a fourth grade class, and the kids in the South Bronx they care less about him. Obviously, they're all, even though fourth grade, they're dealing with some gang stuff, but it's not that bad. It's family friendly. It is fourth grade. But then when he starts introducing chess into the classroom, it's I don't want to ruin the movie, but the kids come alive and some miracles start happening.
Wow. For some reason, and I don't know if it has to do with the B, but when I picture, I don't know Kiki Palmer at all. Can't picture, I don't know who it is. When I picture her, for some reason, I picture the little girl in the Blind Melon video dancing around like the bee. Is that kind of what she looks like?
No.
No? Wow. I do not know what Kiki looks like. Great. Two movies I've never heard, literally never heard of. Never heard you talk about them either. You obviously are hot to tell me anything that you think is great, and you want me to, you try to, force it down my throat. How could you have never told me about these?
I don't know. And considering one of them is a chess movie,
Yeah, right. Nice. All right. I'll tell you. I'm going to give you a little spoiler. There's no Kiki Palmer movies in my list.
well, I had enough for both of us.
All right, my next one again. Big movie. I don't know how family friendly this is based on the subject matter, but I just think that it is. It's one of my favorite movies growing up. Me and my friends lived with this movie, and we're talking about Stand By Me. Stephen King, Stand By Me, the book. He didn't really have anything to do with the movie, I don't think, right, Ern?
No, back then he never got involved. He was all drugged out back then.
Again, about four kids. If you, I mean, this is a popular movie, but if you never heard of it, about four kids, I believe in the 50s, hear about a boy that got killed, but he got hit by a train, and one of the boys knows where the body is. And it's about how they get on a journey to go find that body. And, it's typical little boys, I guess 10, 12 years old. One tells the other one's parents, I'm sleeping at so and so's house. And the other one's at, oh, I'm sleeping at so and so's house. So they all get to stay out overnight and they hike down these train tracks overnight to find this body. And it's about all the little mini adventures they go on. It's a perfect movie. You learn about all the heartaches of these kids, but you also learn about friendship and about comedy and all the fun, goofy scenes along the way. It's just one of my favorite movies ever.
Well, I'm a Stephen King. As far as the books, I read all the books, and that movie is as good as the book. And also, I don't know if this is interesting. It's interesting to me. Kiefer Sutherland was in one of my movies until my wife said no, it's not family friendly. So we there was an argument going on in my house. I had
Is it, can
another.
you can you divulge what that was, or is it going to be on your honorable mentions?
But as I said, my whole family says it's not family friendly. Here you could guess. He flies in this movie.
Lost Boys? I mean, I almost disagree. I think it's along the lines of my next few picks because even though there's vampires and it's that, the older crowd of the vampires, the story still really is Corey Haim and Corey Feldman and that whole clique. That's the story. It's those kids. That's for some reason, when you gave me this topic, that's the kind of movies that I went for. Besides Home Alone, all mine are about groups of kids for some reason on adventures.
Well,
And that's
that's
Lost Boys,
incredible choice. I
the
give you that.
Frog Brothers, in the comic shop, all that stuff. I think it has all that stuff.
That one is not based on a true story. I believe it's the Lost Boys.
We don't know that for sure. All right, come on, number three. What do you got?
Number three. Have you ever heard of a movie called The Straight Story?
No.
Uh,
is this your pick, Ern?
this isn't, well, as I said, I purposely chose movies that I love that I feel like many people might never have heard of. It's another true story, and it's another great one. It happened in 1994, I think. It's about some real old guy who finds out his brother in the other state just had a stroke, might be dying. They've never talked in years. He wants to go and take care of it, but he's so old, he can't drive, he can't take a bus. But he does have one of those John Deere lawnmowers that you could sit in,
Oh my God.
and he decides to go to another state in one of these. So you see him driving on the side of the highway. It doesn't go more than 5 miles per hour, but the whole movie is the cars driving by, and it's just a great story. Yeah,
What's it called again? The Straight Story?
yeah. The guy's name was Alvin Straight. Yeah,
And this is a true story?
yeah. All my movies are true except A Killer, and A Killer. When you watch it, it feels like a true story. And I know I'm going off topic. Yeah, yeah.
This is incredible. This is a true story? I can't even picture what you're saying. Oh my God.
It's so funny to watch him. he's got he's got a what you call it, a little trailer like a red wagon connected to the back with his
Oh
stuff.
my God.
One of those grabbers while he's driving. Great stuff.
Any big actors in it?
Richard Farnsworth is the star. He's the cop from Misery.
Okay.
I think he was nominated for Best Actor, and he at the time was the absolute oldest person ever to be nominated for an Oscar.
Like, what year is this again? You said the
Straight,
real story was like 90 something?
I think was really happened in '94, but the movie's '99.
Wow. Again, I don't you afterwards, I mean, obviously I would assume you'd tell me to watch these from one to five. So far, the other ones sound great. This one seems like the most compelling to me. I gotta watch this first, I think.
I'll come over later.
I'm here, baby. All right. My next one, this is a little movie. This wasn't a big hit. Little movie by this unknown director named Steven Spielberg.
Uh,
And we're talking about two letters, E.T. Again, it
ouch.
has all the elements that I'm talking. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. What a monster blockbuster movie. Still can't believe, if the ET comes out today, there's two, three, four, five, six sequels going on. I can't believe there was never a sequel to this movie. You really didn't need it, of course, right? It was a perfect movie, but to milk that box office, I can't believe they never went back to that well and created and did another ET. It's probably not off the table still, but it's surprising to me that they never did. Anyway, what a great movie. Obviously, everyone knows the story of ET about the alien that comes down, but it's about the little boy. It's about Elliot. It's about his sister. It's about a group of friends that, come together and kind of, it's the adventures that they go on with this alien and trying to protect him and hide him from the government. And it's really all these movies of mine are why my favorite show on TV right now is Stranger Things. Stranger Things, if you've never watched it on Netflix, it has every element of all my movies submerged together and just squashed and put together and spit out the other side. And Stranger Things has all the best qualities of all of this stuff, whether it's the friends, the comedy, the camaraderie, the feel good growing up story, the coming of age story, but it also has all the supernatural and the fantasy elements that all it's really all of my movies combined, the TV show Stranger Things. But E.T. was always one of my favorites. I had to put it on my list.
I always imagine right after ET's flying away on his ship, and his parents are talking to him about what happened, and the kids and ET saying how much they love him and take care of him. And the parents like, if they love you so much, how come they never asked you what your name is?
Good point. I like that.
So,
Poor E.T. I mean, it really is crazy, right? Am I crazy that they never made a sequel on this?
yeah, I mean, 1982, it wasn't sequel crazy yet, and Spielberg could do no wrong. I mean, but if it was
Yeah.
anybody besides Spielberg, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the sequels were starting to become a thing. Obviously, the Star Wars franchise, you had Indiana Jones, you had all this stuff, Jaws. You had the sequels hitting. All the horror movies had the sequels with, Friday the 13th coming and all this stuff. It was what do you remember what his hit movie was right after E.T.?
I know at the same time, the same year was Poltergeist, but right afterwards, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I think.
Right. So he was on to new other things, but still other sequels and stuff. Interesting. Just surprising to me that they never went back to that well. Come
Yep,
on, Aaron,
definitely.
what do you got? Number two.
I just wanted to point out that I saw ET in the movies the first day it came out, by the way. Okay.
Did you really?
Yep, me, Billy, and Mike Leone.
I think I saw it in the movies, but I'm not 100% positive. I think I did.
The opening day at the Nostrand Theater.
I think if I saw it in the movies, it was at the Nostrand as well.
Me and Mike Leone happened to be in Hobby Hut,
Of
uh,
course.
looking at the Dungeon and Dragon books, the modules to see what came out, and we saw the ET big letters. We ran bought tickets. We called Billy up. Billy ran on his bike.
I used to go to Hobby Hut all the time. I used to buy the little pewter Dungeons and Dragons figures. I used to love those things, and I used to paint them.
Cool.
Hobby Hut was a great store. Oh, for kids our age like that, forget it. All the manuals and stuff, great.
And you buy a little bottle of a chemical that you don't have in your chemistry set.
Yes, they had
You know
all
what?
that stuff.
In the fifth grade, I was 100% positive with my chemistry set. I was going to go in my garage and cure cancer.
Did you do it?
No,
Instead, you made Snyder
he was already
like weird science. Instead of creating the ultimate girl, you created the ultimate drunk.
the ultimate meatball.
Come on, what do you got? Number two. No more Kiki Blinders, whatever the hell his name is.
Kiki Palmer. My number two, straight to Disney movie, is a movie called Safety.
Hmm.
It was released during COVID, which I guess is where nothing went to the movies anyway. Safety, another true story of they're all true. I don't think. Safety, he's a football player in college. He's great. He's got full scholarship. His younger brother is in trouble at home, like 10 years old, because his mother is being taken away for drugs again, going to rehab. The kid's going to end up in the welfare system. The older brother decides to take the 10-year-old and hide him in his dorm.
Wow.
And that's how they live with this little 10-year-old living secretly in this dorm. And all the football players are babysitting him when they're not practicing and everything and coaching.
So he was a college player or not an NFL player, college player.
This was college. I don't know if he ever ended up in the NFL, by the way.
Wow. And what year is this, Ern?
2020.
Crazy. Sounds
Incredible.
like a good story. An-
It's all these movies are like un, you watch them and you can't believe that it's true. Unbelievable.
Another one I'd love to see. Something about the guy on the John Deere tractor thing is still number one for me. I just have to see him driving that thing on the highway. Um, but safety would be a close second. I would want to see that.
It's a football movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, my number two, another again, this is another big movie. They even refer to this in a big scene in Stranger Things, because Stranger Things takes place in the 80s. But this is another fantasy movie, feel good, great story. One of my absolute favorites growing up, The Never Ending Story.
Story.
I even heard that I think they're doing a remake of it right now, but what a great movie about this guy reading this book to his grandson and how the story and the real world kind of merged together towards the end with Atreyu and the great nothing kind of taking over the whole land of that they're in. It's just a magical story. Again, kids starring in this movie again for me. Again, I just probably hit me growing up because they were kids. So I don't know if I could relate more, but there was a lot of movies like this when we were kids that were, I guess they were geared towards kids, most of these movies, but they all transcended age, I think. Things like E.T. and Stand By Me, Home Alone, even Never Ending Story, I think probably was the kiddiest of all the ones that I just named, but I still think it transcended different age groups. It wasn't just a kids movie. That's why I think these are really family friendly movies that everyone can enjoy, from the littlest kid to the snotty teenager who thinks nothing is cool. I think everyone can really enjoy these.
Of course, they're doing a remake. Them. That's what the title means.
Good point. But you know this movie, right?
Yeah. And I have the Stranger Thing. That's a song I know very well, but the movie it's somewhere in my memory from being a kid.
The song you know from the Stranger Things scene, right?
Yeah. Although I think I might have even known the song that story even before
Of
that.
course. I mean, it's such a great song. There's a scene in Stranger Things where Dustin, or they call him, his girlfriend at the time calls him Dusty Buns. She forces him to sing the song for her over the phone before she would give him, basically the code to save the world. And she forces him to sing this song with her, and it's just what a scene. All the other kids are like, what the hell is happening right now? While at the same time, this giant monster, 20 stories tall, is chasing the kids. And you hear in another scene them singing this song. It's such a funny scene.
If he would have been with that girl 1 year later, would he had to sing Master of Puppets to her?
I don't think it would have had the same impact. Different.
True.
All right, we are flying. We're up to you number one, and let me recap with your Kiki buttons.
Kiki Palmer,
Oh, number five, Aquila or Aquila
Aquila.
and the Bee.
Yes.
Number four, Knights of the South Bronx. Number three, The Straight Story. Why is it The Straight Story? Why is that? Why is that the title?
His name is Alvin Street.
Gotcha. Number two, Safety, and your number one family-friendly movie is.
Always my favorite. Fly Away Home.
Do I know this? This one sounds familiar, at least. What is this one?
The little girl is in Canada, and she finds some duck eggs in her garage or a barn. She goes, takes care of them. The ducks see her first, so they think she's the mother. They imprint her, so they're following her all around the place. She's the mother now, and it turns out that these ducks have a certain instinct to fly. So once winter starts, and without no mother to teach them where to fly, they're gonna commit suicide by accident. They're gonna fly into the wires and everything.
Right.
Her father builds a little fake single person, I guess it's an airplane, I guess, although it's like with a little motor, and it's painted like a big bird, a big
Oh
duck.
my God.
She flies it,
Come
and
on.
they fly from Canada all the south, and she leads them.
This is a true story?
All my movies except The Killer happen to be based on true
How could
stories.
this be a true story?
When you watch it, well, when you watch it, you say that so many times. How can this possibly have happened?
I don't understand how it's possible.
You know who plays the little girl is the star of True Blood.
Oh, the girl from True Blood?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forget her name, but Rogue from X-Men too. She plays Rogue, I think, in X-Men.
Anna Paquin.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. So what year is that? That's 90s as well?
This is 96. Fly Away Home.
I got a lot of catching up to do, Ern. This is why I love doing the show, not only to reminisce, but learning stuff that I never heard of and going to watch them. I love doing this because literally the next week, every show we do, over the next week after, whether it's just remembering something that I haven't heard or watched in a long time, I go watch, or new stuff, I have stuff to do. I love it.
Let me know
All
what
right,
time. Let me know
what?
what time you need me to come by.
Let's do a marathon, 5 in a row.
Okay.
You working? What are you doing? You good? You
Uh,
free?
I'm free this weekend.
Nice. Let's see if we can get it done. Maybe. All right, let me recap. My number five, Home Alone. Number four, Stand By Me. Number two, E.T. I'm sorry. Number three, E.T. Number two, Never Ending Story. And my number one, family friendly movie. There was no doubt in my mind as soon as you texted me this subject, I knew it was going to be The Goonies.
Of course.
Just, I mean, it doesn't get any better. It's a perfect, perfect, perfect movie on all fronts. It has all the elements that I loved as a kid, which was the group of kids, especially just a group of boys in trouble, causing trouble, off on an adventure. It's what me and my friends did all the time. You can really relate to it, and it had the fantasy element with with all the booby traps and the pirate ship and sloth and so many fun things going on in this movie. Just absolutely perfect. Perfect, perfect movie.
I imagine the scene in the Goonies where the kid grabs the bike and makes James Brolin fall off the cliff. Like,
Yes.
wouldn't that be a good Thanos origin story?
For people who don't know, James Brolin is Thanos. So I do like the connection. That would work. Yeah, just again, one of those movies that's just absolutely timeless. You watch it today, the effects, the movie, the story, the way it's filmed still holds up. You've heard of
Yeah,
this one, Ern? You know this one?
that's just so many times. If you make another mistake, we'll all be flat.
Your kids know this?
I think I tried to watch it with them, but my kids, I don't know where they get this from, but they won't watch it unless it comes from them. It's their idea. It's so
Was
annoying.
it? It's
I
it,
think
isn't it
do I owe you an apology? I think.
isn't that an annoying trait, Ernie?
Oh, it's so annoying. I apologize to the world. So I see what you all meant.
I hate you. Come on, what do you got? You got any honorable mentions?
The honorable mentions is where I kept more popular ones. E.T. is there. I put School of Rock as one of my honorable
Yeah,
mentions.
good one.
Um, I happen to like both Adams Family movies. I think
Yeah,
they're both
I do
incredible.
too.
As a matter of fact, I think the second one might actually be a little bit funnier
I
than the
don't
first.
remember the second one as much as the first. I'd have to go back.
The second one, she goes to camp.
Oh, yes, of course. You're right. That is maybe better.
That might be just a touch funnier. And this might be a little risky as a children's movie, but Little Miss Sunshine is an
Oh,
incredible.
that's a good movie. That's a good movie.
That's another
Again,
one.
that's one of the ones you showed me.
Yeah. And you know, while I'm at it, while I'm throwing movies out, while you're giving me my pedestal, does Lord of the Rings fit into this
I
category?
don't think Lord. So what I did was like those big block. I don't think Lord of the Rings is a family movie anyway. Just because to me, I don't get me wrong, I love Lord of the Rings, but it could be boring. It could be drawn out for kids. I don't see everyone being into that. We could have went with all the superhero movies or Star Wars movies. I left all that stuff off because I just thought that they're a genre unto itself. Lord of the Rings, I don't think fits the category. You think it does?
I I don't know. A never-ending story. It's not that far off.
Yeah, but it's definitely different. Lord of the Rings one is almost 3 hours long each movie. They're pretty drawn out. A lot of Elvish stuff, all that's I don't see a 7, 8 year old sitting through that and enjoying it.
How about a movie called Matilda? Do you know anything about this movie?
I know Matilda. What's Matilda again?
Matilda, in my house, there's an argument whether this is a superhero movie or not because she does control stuff with her mind. I think it's well, Danny DeVito is the parent, and, and the kid is like it's almost like Annie a little bit, like an orphan and all that, and she gets
I feel like I saw that, but I don't remember it.
and Deirdre wants me to mention something called Lemonade Mouth. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I don't know that either.
Yeah.
She hasn't forced you to watch it like you do to us.
I'm sure she will. She will.
My few, I had Labyrinth. Remember Labyrinth?
Sure.
David Bowie. He controls like these, I guess they're like puppets, Muppets, or whatever you want to call them, and kidnaps this baby from the sister, and it's how she has to go back to his land and rescue him. Jumanji, which is to me a very underrated movie. Robin Williams, they play the game, they get sucked into the game.
I never
I
watched.
forgot how good this movie was. My kids, I don't even know how they discovered it, but they discovered it somehow, and they said, "Look, can we watch this?" I said, "Of course." And we were watching it. I was kind of had it in the background while I was doing stuff, and I got sucked back in, no pun intended. What a great movie. And my last, The Sandlot. That was a fun one. Kids
Sandlot,
playing baseball, they lose the ball. Just feels like my childhood. So much fun.
Sandlot and Stand By Me, similar stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This was a good one, Ern. Again, we had a great time at the Playground Reunion show. If you're interested, Playground shirts are available on Amazon, as well as, of course, the Ernie shirt that was available on Amazon. Not the signed ones. The signed ones you can only get in person if you see Ernie. So come to, maybe we'll do a top five meet and greet one of these days. We'll meet all the fans, especially the Australians that love you so much, Ern, right?
For those people that I did sign, I made them promise that I'm not going to find them later on eBay.
Trust me, the way this girl was reacting when you signed it, she was not getting rid of it.
That made me feel weird.
Great stuff again. Send your emails to top5 with Joey Cassata at gmail.com. That's top five with Joey Cassata at gmail.com. That's no number one, Ernie. No, no number ones, no nothing in that email, by the way.
That's the number.
Um, Again, we're referring to I do a Kiss podcast Rock City every week, and we have a little fun with the email. Podcast Rock City 1.
That's the number one.
That's the number one. Check us out. We're live every Sunday at 7 on YouTube. Check us out, Podcast Rock City. So much fun. But again, we'll see you next week for another top five. Send us your emails about this episode. Tell me what topics you want to hear. We got a couple contests maybe coming up for another viewer to participate in one of our upcoming shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. But for now, we're signing off. We will see you next time.